We don't get to witness something like this every day. When was the last time you heard there was a game that broke multiple records? Well, this one did. In this video, we'll talk about how High on Life has broken multiple Xbox Game Pass records, including the biggest launch event. Along with that, we'll break down the game's voice actors. So make sure you watch this video till the very end to learn all about. First up, High on Life has broken multiple Xbox Game Pass records. High on Life is one of the few games that became a huge success story. It brought success to both its developer and Xbox Game Pass. According to Microsoft, the game has surpassed 3 huge milestones in a really short time. The game is produced by Rick and Morty's co-creator Justin Roiland, and you'll definitely get to see a lot of similarities between the show and the games, starting with absurdist humor and genuinely fun adventure shooter gameplay. According to Xbox Wire blog post, High on Life topped the Xbox Game Pass charts for the year 2022. It also became the biggest launch on the platform this year. While those two achievements are pretty huge in and of themselves, they can also add the title of the biggest third-party Game Pass launch of all time and the biggest release of a single only player game. Even though it's a third-party release, the game has been doing exceptionally well on the Xbox Game Pass. Xbox has been throwing in immense support for its out-of-the-box piece of art. Other than the reason that the game is doing exceptionally well on its own, Xbox is also showing support to let other platforms know that they're a good platform that can boost their product's profile and popularity. Most of the time, games that launch through their own traditional methods don't have the same exposure and popularity. Moving on, what did the director have to say? Mike Friedley, the studio director and COO of Squanch Games, said this was their first launching a game with a Game Pass, and they're blown away by the response they've gotten from the players. He said, when the Squanch game was first made, their goal was to create games that everyone would like to play, and Game Pass has allowed them to achieve this goal. According to a review, High on Life is the most video game-like video game ever to exist. It shows the studio's potential and what they're capable of. It's interactive and packed with a tad bit of inappropriate jokes. Not to mention, the game is rated M. Before you allow your children to let loose on the game, we just want to tell you that it is rated M. And why is that, you ask? Well, because there are a lot of fart and cum jokes thrown around quite frequently. While the former isn't that big of a problem, the latter is or can be. That depends on your kids, to be honest. Other than that, there's frequent drug abuse, blood, gore, and many other crude sex jokes. Moving on to the next segment. Several notable voice actors and comedians play the weapons in High on Life. The game's weapons are called Gatlians, and they talk to you constantly as you handle and employ them. In some cases, depending on how you use them, they even offer some metagaming commentary. The game's vast world is also filled with a variety of human and alien characters. We're going to break down these voice actors for you. First up, Justin Roiland is the voice actor who plays Kenny. Kenny is the first weapon in the game. It's a typical pistol-like Gatlian. Justin Roiland is the man behind his voice. He's best known for lending his voices to Morty Smith and Rick Sanchez in the popular Adult Swim animated series. He also co-created and later starred in the Hulu animated series Solar Opposites. He was additionally voiced characters on shows like Gravity Falls and The Boys Presents Diabolical. Of course, the man's own work gives him the most prominence. Since Roiland founded Squanch Games, you may also recognize him as Trover in the upcoming video game Trover Saves the Universe. He's also provided his vocal abilities to a long list of other productions, including Robot Chicken, Adventure Time, Smallfoot, and Netflix's Invader Zim Enter the Florpus. Up next, JB Smoove as Gus. Kenny is not the only talking weapon you have at your disposal. During your wild adventure, Gus, a ruckus shotgun of sorts, will come into your life. The actor JB Smoove voiced him. Smoove has an easily recognizable voice. The actor has contributed his skills to many well-known animated shows, including The Harvey Quinn Show, where he plays Frank, and Poison Ivy's Talking Plant. In the most recent Spider-Man movies, he played Mr. Dell, one of Peter Parker's teachers. He has also played live-action roles. Smoove has a long list of achievements to his name. Following up, Tim Robinson as Creature. We've got another famous comedian on the list, Tim Robinson. His voicing Creature, High on Life, has probably seen Tim star in the Netflix comedy series I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson. He also voiced Ugly Sonic in the Chippendale Rescue Rangers live-action film. The Creature is single-handedly the game's most bizarre gun. We obviously mean this in a good way. But what's so bizarre about him after all? So instead of firing bullets at your opponents, the weapon fires its own babies. Yes, Yes, babies, which then attack their targets. Robinson has experience in odd comedic endeavors like this. Following a stint on Saturday Night Live, Robinson would go on to have a successful career, making appearances on Detroiters, Our Cartoon President, and many, many more. Coming up, Betsy Sidero as Sweezy. Betsy Sidero voices the crystal shooting weapon. Sweezy is the quick-fire pistol of the game, and if your heart so desires, you can use this sassy handgun to amusingly boss around the little Moppet office workers and see Sweezy in all her cantankerous glory. Like JB Smoove, Sidero has had a variety of roles in both voice acting and live-action productions. She's made numerous streaming appearances in TV shows and movies like Ghosts, Hubby Halloween, and Superstore. Sidero also voiced Clamper's Button Willow in Trolls 2 World Tour. Apart from that, she also has appeared in episodes of Bob's Burgers and Kung Fu Panda: The Paws of Destiny, so safe to say she isn't new to this world. Not to mention Michael Cusack as Knifey. The second weapon you receive in the game after setting out on your journey isn't a live gun, unlike Kenny. It's a stabby knife with the very literal name Knifey. This murderous bugger, voiced by Michael Cusack, will make you want to become a serial killer in the worst ways. Ways worse than Joe Goldberg. Cusack has voiced characters in a variety of animated films, many of which aren't aimed at children, much like High on Life. He's provided voices for a variety of projects, including The Cyanide and Happiness Show, YOLO, Crystal Fantasy, and Smiling Friends. Let's not forget David Harmon as Mr. Zaruthian. Even though David has a very generic name, the character he's behind has a name that is, well, hard to roll out. As the game proceeds, you'll see yourself indulging in the role of a bounty hunter, mostly because you are the real bounty hunter. Gene Zaruthian would rather hop around your couch. Gene is your ultimate guide in your adventure to fight the aliens. Herman is instantly recognizable to longtime comedy fans as Michael Bolton from the 1999 film Office Space. Over the years, he has also appeared in several other comedic adventures, such as Dude, Where's My Car? And Idiocracy. He has long-running occurring roles on Futurama, King of the Hill, Beavis and Butthead, Brickleberry, Disenchantment, and Bob's Burgers, but he has primarily turned to voice acting. Let's talk about Laura Silverman as her older sister. Did you really think that we've got an alien adventure fantasy and there isn't an annoying older sister who will keep us grounded? Well, you're wrong, because that just steals the whole fun away. Anyway, the older sister Lizzie is voiced by Laura Silverman. She seems to handle being literally uprooted from her life on Earth rather well, somehow. Other voice acting roles that Silverman is known for include a significant run on Bob's Burgers. She's also the older sister of Sarah Silverman, a well-known actress and comedian, if her name is any indication. Besides others, she has appeared in live-action productions of The Sarah Silverman Program, Nurse Jackie, The Comeback, and Santa Clarita Diet. Next up, Steve Agee. The NPCs that make up High on Life's world give the impression that it is a dynamic ecosystem. Additionally, they frequently add to the humor in the game by making observations and passing jokes to the player. Some of these voices can be heard all over the world thanks to Steve Agee's vocals. Even though he doesn't portray any prominent characters, his voice is unmistakably talented. Agee recently had a healthy run as John Economos on the HBO series Peacemaker. This DC production is a continuation of his role in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. When it comes to comedy, John Economos and John Cena both stand out in the series. He also played the part of Downgrade Donnie in Squanch Games' first game, Trover Saves the Universe. Following, Thomas Middleditch. If you finish the game, you probably already know who Ranchi is. He's the purple alien who is going through a Fergal's withdrawal. Thomas Middleditch provides the voice for this erratic businessman. Naturally, Middleditch was the Verizon spokesperson, so he was probably constantly on your screens due to Verizon advertisements. But he has also played parts in popular Hollywood productions like Zombieland Double Tap, The Wolf of Wall Street, and Godzilla King of the Monsters. He has voice acting credits for shows like Captain Underpants, The First Epic Movie, DC League of Super Pets, and Bob's Burgers. Last but not least, Kevin McDonald. Everyone who's played the game already knows that Dr. Giblets is possibly the game's simplest bounty to claim. It takes much longer to look into the good doctor than to confront him. The voice speaking for the unfortunate doctor is Kevin McDonald. McDonald also voices another character who's located in the saloon despite his limited time. Fans of comedy may be familiar with him from The Kids in the Hall. He was a pillar of the show from its inception in 1988 to its end in 2011, and he continues to be one of the 5 main cast members in the show's Amazon Prime revival. Anyway, that's a wrap for this video. Have you played the game? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.